On July 3, 1938, something impossible happened on the East Coast Main Line in England. A machine weighing 165 tons screamed past at 126 miles per hour, shattering every speed record in existence. But ever wondered what single moment pushed Europe into the age of unstoppable steam power, and which locomotive truly changed everything? Here are the top 10 European steam engines that changed the world. 10. Salamanca. The Salamanca, built in 1812 by Matthew Murray for the Middleton Railway, was one of the first commercially successful steam locomotives ever created. However, it wasn't your typical locomotive. This twin-cylinder beast used a rack and pinion system, essentially teeth on the rail that meshed with gears on the locomotive. The Salamanca established practical steam traction for industrial railways and became the blueprint for everything that followed. Without this pioneering machine, the entire railway revolution might have taken a completely different path. 9. Adler, built in 1835 by Robert Stephenson and Company. This was the first steam locomotive to run on a German public railway. The Adler was a 2-2-2-wheel arrangement locomotive, meaning it had 2 leading wheels, 2 driving wheels, and 2 trailing wheels. But here's what makes this machine historically monumental. The Adler symbolized the spread of steam-powered rail travel beyond the United Kingdom to continental Europe. When it hauled passenger traffic between Nuremberg and Fürth, it was transporting an entire nation into the industrial age. Germany would go on to become one of the world's most advanced railway nations, and it all started with this British-built machine that crossed borders and changed everything. 8. SJ Class F, a large express steam locomotive built in the 1910s by Nydquist and Holm. AB, NOHAB. This 460-wheel arrangement powerhouse generated 1,140 kilowatts. These locomotives were primarily used between Stockholm and Gothenburg and Stockholm and Malmö, serving mainline express needs in the early 20th century. The SJ Class F was one of Sweden's largest steam engines, highly efficient and remarkably robust. It represented Nordic engineering at its finest, proving that innovative locomotive design wasn't limited to just Britain, France, and Germany. 7. FS Class 6911 of Italy's fastest and most advanced steam locomotive classes. This 462 Pacific type could reach speeds of around 120 to 130 kilometers per hour, 75 to 81 miles per hour. Exceptional for Italian railways, especially given the mountainous terrain. This was absolutely extraordinary. Rebuilt from Class 690 in the late 1930s, these compound locomotives with 4 cylinders served prestigious lines including Milan to Bologna and Milan to Venice. They maintained high-speed passenger services well into the mid-20th century, representing Italian industrial pride during a transformative era in European history. 6. BR Standard Class 9. F1 of the last steam locomotive designs built in the United Kingdom during the 1950s. Now, this 210-wheel arrangement beast wasn't built for speed or glamour. It was built for raw, unrelenting power. Weighing approximately 90 tons with a boiler pressure of 250 pounds per square inch, the 9F had 2 cylinders measuring 20 inches by 28 inches and generated a tractive effort of 39,701 pounds force. These machines were designed for hauling heavy freight efficiently, and they achieved records for freight hauling even after steam's prime years were over. The 9th floor was proof that even as diesel and electric locomotives were taking over, steam technology had reached an incredible peak of reliability and efficiency. But why would the most powerful 460 locomotive design in the entire United Kingdom, a machine built specifically for speed and express passenger service, use a wheel arrangement that was supposedly becoming obsolete by the time it was designed? And how did this controversial engineering choice actually make it superior to locomotives with supposedly more modern wheel configurations? Well, the answer lies in the upcoming locomotive that we are discussing, GWR King Class. Built between 1927 and 1936 by the Great Western Railway, these magnificent machines had 4 cylinders measuring 16¼ inches by 28 inches, a boiler pressure of 250 pounds per square inch, and generated a tractive effort of 40,285 pounds force. The 4-6-0 wheel arrangement, 4 leading wheels, 6 driving wheels, and no trailing wheels, was considered by many engineers to be less stable at high speeds compared to Pacific or mountain-type arrangements. But the King class proved them all wrong. The design was built for the heaviest express passenger trains on the GWR main lines, capable of pulling the fastest and heaviest trains with remarkable ease. The lack of trailing wheels actually gave these locomotives better weight distribution over the driving wheels, providing superior traction. Now, here's where our story takes an unexpected turn. We often think of steam locomotive development as a steady progression from small and slow to big and fast. But history reveals something far more complex. Some of the earliest speed records weren't broken for decades, and some of the most powerful locomotives were designed not during the height of the steam age, but during its twilight years. As if engineers were making one last desperate stand against the inevitable rise of diesel and electric power, the machines we're about to explore next were statements that steam technology had not reached its limits. 4. BB0214. The BB0214 class represents Austria's largest and most powerful steam locomotives ever built. This 2-8 four-wheel arrangement locomotive weighed over 130 tons and had something absolutely extraordinary: the longest connecting rods in the world at the time. Built by Locomotive Fabrik Floridsdorf between 1928 and 1936, these locomotives reached officially tested speeds of around 110 to 130 kilometers per hour. Those connecting rods, the mechanical links between the driving wheels and the pistons, were engineering marvels. Their length allowed for smoother operation and more efficient power transfer, but they also made maintenance incredibly complex. These locomotives served Austria's express trains and represented interwar engineering sophistication at its absolute peak. 3. DRG, Class 05, a streamlined express train locomotive designed for high speed in the 1930s. This 4-6 four-wheel arrangement machine, powered by approximately 2,500 kilowatts and carrying 10 tons of hard coal and 37 cubic meters of water, achieved something remarkable. In 1936, Locomotive 05002 set a record speed of 124.5 miles per hour. Think about that for a moment. In 1936, before modern aerodynamics, before computer modeling, before advanced metallurgy, German engineers created a steam locomotive that could travel at speeds comparable to modern highway driving. These rare locomotives were built mainly for record attempts and express services, embodying Germany's engineering push for speed and efficiency. They held one of Europe's highest steam speed records for decades before being replaced with diesel hydraulics in the late 1950s. But how could a nation that had been devastated by World War II, a country whose infrastructure lay in ruins and whose economy was struggling to rebuild, manage to design, construct, and deploy what would become the pinnacle of French steam locomotive design, a machine so powerful and sophisticated that it rivaled or exceeded anything that had come before? And why would they invest in steam technology at the exact moment when electrification was clearly the future? Well, the next one is your answer for that. 2 SNCF 241P. This French masterpiece was introduced in 1948, 3 years after the war ended. It was a 482 mountain-type locomotive measuring 27.1 meters long and weighing approximately 226 tons, including tender. The technical specifications are staggering: driver diameter of 2,000 millimeters, boiler pressure of 284 pounds per square inch, and a compound setup with 4 cylinders, 2 high pressure and 2 low pressure. This beast generated 3,000 kilowatts, with a tractive effort of 202.66 kilonewtons. So why did France build these magnificent machines during the dawn of electrification? Well, this is because France needed powerful locomotives immediately for reconstruction, and steam could be built faster than electrifying entire railway networks. But more than that, the 241P was primarily associated with hauling the prestigious Le Mistral train. France was declaring that despite the devastation of war, French engineering excellence had not only survived, but it had also evolved. the elegant design and power established the 241P as one of France's most powerful and beautiful steam locomotives. 1. LNER Class A44468 Mallard. This isn't just the greatest European steam engine, it's the fastest steam locomotive in history, and that record has stood unbroken for 87 years. Designed by Sir Nigel Gresley and built at Doncaster Works, the Mallard was a streamlined 462 Pacific-type locomotive measuring 70 feet long and weighing 165 long tons, including tender. With driving wheels measuring 6 feet 8 inches in diameter and 3 cylinders burning coal. This machine was built for one purpose: to dominate speed. From the very beginning, engineers knew this machine wasn't just built to break a record. It was built to hold one. Every early run hinted at a locomotive that could sustain impossible speeds with surprising stability. Mallard could haul long-distance express passenger services at sustained high speeds, not just short bursts. This machine combined speed, power, and reliability in ways that had never been achieved before. So there you have it, the top 10 European steam engines that changed the world. So if you could travel back in time and ride just one of these legendary locomotives at full speed, which one would you choose and why? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you loved this video, hit that subscribe button because we've got so much more incredible locomotive content coming your way.